Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello everybody, Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Today we have podcast episode number 194. We have 5 questions sent in by real estate investors like yourself. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. One more time, support@michaelquarles.com. Or you can go up to the website, michaelquarles.com. There's going to be a little button that says talk to Mike, something like that. Click on that thing and there's a little form you can fill out and do that there as well. We're making it so super easy for you guys to ask questions. We even have a recorder ask questions on the site, so you can click that button as well and just, instead of typing it, you can just say it. That pretty, there you go. Can't get any better than that. And then, of course, you can always text the word wealth to the number 313131, and that form will help hold yourself accountable. And there's also a question there if you have any questions for me. So, man, I've got ways for you to get involved. And I really need you guys to get involved. I need some more reviews and in written form on iTunes. I'm understanding that they like them, iTunes being they, and I like them too. It helps me understand what you folks want to see and hear, I guess, more than see. So it helps the show, go in the direction the audience wants it to go into. So that's pretty good stuff. And I have at the end of this podcast a special announcement that I am going to announce. So stay tuned. But here we go. Question number 1. One school of real estate marketing thought suggests that you should hit the same mailing list for about a year and that the leads get progressively better after hitting that list for 6 months. On the other hand, you're an advocate of cluster marketing, which says to hit the same list but with different pieces of mail and to pull a new list after 6 months. Do you believe there is any truth to the first school of thought? What led you to the conclusion cluster marketing is better than hitting the same list for a year? Okay, let's define the two lists for a second. Even if you do it the first way, you would want to pull your list again using the same criteria at 6 months because of this and this only. There'll be enough people that fall off the list who have sold to somebody else or to you, or refinance their property and grab the equity base that's important for us. So there'll be a big enough portion of those people that we don't want, that the cost of the list is less than the cost of the bad mail. So if we continued to send them anything, there would be too many people that we couldn't send mail to that would make any difference for us. And then we also know some people will add on to the list, but a lot of them are going to stay. Okay? We know that. So either way, whether you're going to mail the same mail piece month after 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 month, I don't know if that's 12 months or not, but you still need to pull that thing at 6 months. Okay? So let's get that straight. Either philosophy, you still have to do that. If you don't do that, you are absolutely wasting marketing dollars. Now, why do I think cluster marketing is better than sending the same piece for 12 months? Well, besides the fact that I've proven it, and that's pretty cool. I mean, when someone can say to you to do it this way, and they say that because, like, don't touch the stove because it's hot, and they've touched the stove and realized it was hot. Well, pretty good lessons. If I've learned it already, I'm willing to share it with you. That doesn't mean you have to receive it. You can touch the stove if you want. I'm all for that. I'm all for individuality. I'm all for, if you want to do it your way, I get it. I understand it. I appreciate it. I just think it's more expensive to do it with the same piece of mail marketing over and over and over again. And I do not believe for a moment it matters if you use cluster marketing, that you send out the first piece today or the third piece or the 12th piece. And, like some people say, well, if you, after 7 months, that's when everything happens. No. That's a bunch of crapola. Here's why it's a bunch of crap. Because we're not the only one marketing to them. Okay? We're not the only one touching them. And it's the touching that's the important part. Because everybody else is touching them too. They're getting touched by real estate signs. They're getting touched by real estate magazines, TV commercials, radio commercials, direct mail, all kinds of direct mail. They're getting touched, the internet. They're getting touched all kinds of ways. So everybody's touching them. Our job is to be there when they need us. To be there when they need us, and to be there in a way that causes them to pick us. That's why. So here's what I'm saying. Can you tell I'm fired up? I love this stuff. Here's why. Get this for a second. I want you to go do something. Okay? I can stop the podcast if you guys want to do it, or do this after the podcast is over. Either one. Let's do it afterwards, the podcast, because it'd be kind of awkward for everybody to get up, go in and do this, and me wait for them. So do it after the podcast is over, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to your closet. You know where you keep your pants and your shirts? Heck, probably even your underwear and socks. Go to those places. I bet when you go to your closet, you don't see the same pair of pants over and 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 over again. And I bet you don't see the same shirt 12 different times. Same color. I bet you all the shoes aren't the same shoe. I bet you all the socks aren't the same color. I bet you the underwear are different. I bet you got the underwear for Valentine's Day that you wear. And I bet you got the underwear for, the grandma panties. You got different types. You like choice. Okay? So, think about that for a second. You yourself decide to choose and buy different things that do the same thing. One day it was red. You like the red one. Hey, that one's the one that talked to you that day. And you know what? The red guy won that day. He got your business. But another day, purple won. You got the purple thing. Oh, you wanted the skinny jeans on one day, so they got your stuff. And you want the bell-bottom jeans on another day. They got your money. Okay? Our job is to be there with the item that causes the person to say, I want to buy you. Now, if I only sold skinny jeans, if I only marketed skinny jeans, you get one pair. Yeah, you might. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, if you have two pairs of skinny jeans, really, why do you need two pairs of skinny jeans? And you can tell I don't wear skinny jeans. I'd look really horrible in skinny jeans, but you just don't. Most people anyway. So let's look at direct mail. I know for a fact. I know this for a fact. It is not even open to discussion. I would not respond to a yellow letter. You send me a yellow letter in the mail, just because I own the largest yellow letter business in the country doesn't mean it's not the reason. You send me a yellow letter in the mail and you want me to do something, I am not doing it. No way. Okay? Just I want you to know, you send me a yellow letter in the mail, I'm throwing that thing in the trash. But my wife, she'll read that darn thing. She'll read it, she'll save it, she'll say, baby, look at this. And I look at her like, I married you? No, I know, I love you, baby. I don't mean it like that. I love my wife. Gosh, what a jewel. Anyway, getting back to marketing. So I wouldn't respond to the yellow letter. But you know what? Give me that professional letter. Give me that thing that looks like it came from corporate America. Woo! Doggy! Man, I like that one. Yes! Handwritten envelope. Man, I like that. Looks professional. It's got a professional logo. Looks like he signed it. I like that one. Man, that's neat. I can talk to that person. That's my guy or gal right there. Postcard, yeah. I like postcards if I'm right there in the moment of decision. I like postcards. If I'm not in the moment of decision, it's a postcard. Oh my goodness, that zip thing, I gotta interact with it, and I gotta touch it, and I feel gooey, and it's important looking, and I get excited, and it's a fake check. I get a little frustrated, but I still got to interact with it. Yeah, I read it, man, because it got my attention because I wasn't sure what it was, and it's kind of professional looking. Man, that's gonna talk to me too. Oh my goodness, that greeting card. I tell you what, every time you do business with someone, you send them a thank you card. You talking about going a long way in life with them? Oh, wow. People like greeting cards. They just like to be, oh my goodness, it felt so good. Man, when I sell my house, I'm going to sell it to you. Man, okay. People actually go through this stuff. They think these ways. But the person that sent out a yellow letter all day long, 12 yellow, we sent out 12 yellow letters, Mike. And we had to send them all out, and we got our best call volume on the 11th one. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am absolutely sorry. Do you know why you got your best one at the 11th one? Because you finally found someone that liked the yellow letter, that was in the mood of motivation. See, what we're trying to accomplish is, we can't create motivation. Nothing we can do that's reasonable can create motivation. I can create unreasonable motivation. I can create unreasonable expectation all day long. I can buy every house I look at, whether the seller wants to sell it or not, if I offer them enough money. But that's unreasonable motivation. I can create that, but I can't create reasonable motivation. So if I can't create it, what is my marketing supposed to do for me? It's supposed to talk to the person who, when they have motivation, offers them a solution in a way that causes them to absorb it, to listen to it, to take action upon it. It has to be something that causes them to have an influence towards you, a positive influence towards you. If you are only using a single thing and you're doing that repetitively over and over and over again, you are at very best, having 1/12 of the market. 1/12. The other, 11/12, they're going to call me. And do I send them out at certain times for a reason? Yes. I know when I'm going to send these cycles out. I mean, I've tracked it. I know why we do what we do, and we do it on purpose. Marketing is not a gamble. Marketing done right is successful, and you have to have it. But man, here, let's look at the other side of the fence now. As I don't want all my friends that believe in the other thing to beat me up too badly, so I'm going to try to explain the theory of why you send out the same thing over and over and over again. And that's because what they want to try to persuade you to believe is that there is a way to create brand awareness. So brand awareness is like if you closed your eyes and I said Red Cross, which is the most popular brand in the world, that you would see the red cross in your brain. In the vision of your brain with your eyes closed, you'd see Red Cross. Emotionally, you would know what that meant. It would help people, kind of thing. So that's brand awareness. So the people that believe that you send something out month after month after month and after month after month after month is that you're creating the brand awareness. Right, great. I actually believe that. I believe if you send the same thing to someone 12 times, you absolutely will create some sort of awareness. Most likely, it's the awareness to throw it in the trash because I already know what it is because I read it the first or the second time I got it. Don't need to read it the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, seventh time. And I like this other thing anyway. This cute greeting card that says, I love you kind of stuff. I mean, I like that one better anyway. I like the professional one that's talking about professional stuff anyway. I like that one. So, and they're boring. I like, but I understand brand awareness. But now let me ask you a question. What's our brand? Now, I own 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH. So you can call the phone number 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH, and it comes into my Alex's. Please don't do that. You can, but don't do that because it just costs me money. But anyway, I own the brand 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH. And there's some other brands out there that are really good. There's HomeVestor brand. There's We Buy Houses brands. I get it. I understand it. I got it. I totally get it. But I will guarantee you my cluster marketing idea and concept will outperform any brand awareness. Because, and here is the secret sauce. We don't buy from organized people. Very few houses that you buy from someone will you be able to categorize them or classify them as an organized individual. We just don't do it. We buy from unorganized individuals, which brand awareness has no influence upon. We're buying from the person who's procrastinated, who's waited until the last moment. They didn't even hear the HomeVestors commercials or saw the billboard. No, it's not even absorbing because that's their mentality. They're procrastinators. They're not organized. It takes organization to understand and capture brand awareness. So I have to come along with my marketing and talk to all the different personality types inside of my marketing. If you send out one type of marketing and you send it out over and over and over again, you're talking to one type of person. One. That's all you get. Because it's the same darn thing over and over again. But you send them 6 different things. 6 different packaging with 6 messages. 6 different colors, 6 different touches. Some of it they interact with, some of it they don't interact with, but the message is strong. We're here to help. Man, all day long, cluster marketing is going to outperform. Now, don't get me wrong. You've heard me say this too. Cluster marketing from a 6 type of piece situation works great for lists under 10,000. But if I had a 50,000 list, I wouldn't do the 6 cluster marketing that I would do on the lists that are 5 or 6,000 or 1,000. I would cluster market a different way. So I would do size and shape and color, but I would send out the same type of media piece. And it wouldn't look like the last one I sent them. So they're not going to be able to attach. I don't believe we can create brand awareness. But I own 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH. Think about this. I want you guys to understand this thing. 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH implies call this phone number, sell for cash. But I'm not trying to create a brand awareness out of it. So I'm not trying to get people to think like long-term, long time, like next year they'll remember that phone number. No, I don't want that. I want immediate gratification in my marketing. If I don't have that, then I have to wait 7 months for my marketing to perform. I can't wait 7 months. I need to have something that produces today. And if we're doing 50,000 lists, then we're going to do it a little different way. So we're not going to do the yellow letters and the zip letter and the greeting card. We're going to do a different size and texture of our postcards. So they're going to be different colors, different sizes, different language, not language like in Spanish or French or stuff like that, but they're going to speak differently. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because that level of a list size, the call volume from using some of the other items would be too great. And one of the beautiful things about a postcard is that it filters quite a bit for us. Positively filters for us, not negatively filters. Whereas the professional letter or the zip letter or the yellow letter, it's not filtering as much. They're still positively filtering, especially the professional letter and the zip letter. but I want, at some list sizes, I want a different delivery vehicle, but I want to mix it up. Guys and gals, I'm going to tell you this right now. Best color for postcard paper is orange. Best color for postcard paper is orange, but you can't just always mail out orange. It'd be foolish, okay? Second best color, and I believe there's 2 months of the year that we'll use this color. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I think that there's also cancer awareness, but not just necessarily breast cancer awareness. But I think there's 2 months, but that's pink. So you'd be crazy not to use pink, and it's not a feminine color, guys. It doesn't mean that you're gay, okay? It just means it's pink. All right, we're talking to the prospect. Keep in mind, we are not buying from ourselves, so we shouldn't influence how we market. We shouldn't influence how we market. We should market to the people we're trying to influence. All right, there's difference. So if you don't like pink, if you think pink is girly, get over it. You don't have to get over it. You can not ever send out pink, and when I send out pink, I'm going to buy more houses. And then the third color is yellow. But we also have green and blue, and we have those colors because sometimes when we do large lists, we really want to really mix up the visual on it. And the blue, there's a reason for the blue, and there's a reason for the green. White, we do have white. Yuck. Okay. Anyway. It only took me 20 minutes to go through that rant. Boy, that was a long rant.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through Yellow Letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 2. Are there any major concerns for old wooden house frames in humid places such as Florida? Probably. Mold. I'd have it, check for mold. I know mold companies are easy. I mean, the inspections are pretty simple nowadays because of the systemization and the systems that they have. So I would look at mold and rule that out and have it abated if it needs to be abated. But I'm not afraid of old wooden structures. I mean, we have a lot of that in California, and we have a lot of that in areas of California that snow and rain a lot. So I'm not afraid of that. I mean, and I've bought my fair share of molded houses. Or moldy houses, not molded houses. I guess all houses are molded, but moldy houses are houses that have mold. And it's kind of fascinating. If you've never been in a house that has mold, I'm not saying just go and run into one, okay, because you'd want to be protected probably. But it's fascinating to see how mold grows and what color it is. That's why when we inspect a house to buy it, our walkthrough inspection, we're looking at the ceilings in the bathrooms, because those little black dots that you see on the ceiling, that's a sign that possible mold's growing or going to start. But when you really have a hive infestation of mold, they're mushrooms. They're just like stalactites and stalagmites just growing out of the walls. It's kind of cool looking. I'd love to see it like through a microscope to see really the intricate patterns to it, but that's just my weird childhood imagination kind of stuff. But no, I'm not afraid. Question number 3. To have a practice like yours, what kind of overhead would I expect? I don't practice. I do this on purpose. So if you want to know if you to have a business that's done on purpose like mine, what kind of overhead would you expect? You'll want to be able to, about $150K a month. You want to be able to, have that somewhere if you want to buy that many houses. So that's $150,000. That is, it's great. So, yeah. I don't know if that answered that question. That question could get really big. And if someone wanted to actually ask the question like this, how do I get your business? How do I create your business? What are the steps that I need to go through? But I'd love that podcast. I'd love that podcast. I'd love that podcast. Anyway, question number 4. How can I keep things simple in a high-tech driven world? Gosh, I think high-tech is simple. I see it very, very, very simple. And how I manage the simplicity, and maybe that's the question, is I have a great person on staff. I have a lot of great excuse me, my voice is going. I have a lot of great people on staff, and they're all charged with their own responsibility, which I think is important anytime you deal with people, that you give them responsibility, that they actually know, one, what their tasks are, kind of thing, and 2, how appreciative you are for them to do such a great job. So how I keep my things simple, because I think high tech allows simplicity, is I have someone that manages it all. And it's not an easy task. I wouldn't want it. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want it. I'm kind of there because I'm a nerd this way. I know, I said it. I'm a nerd. Sorry. If anybody has a nerd group, maybe I can join. I really am. I absolutely am a nerd. But I think that as examples, in our business, in the world of business, our job, at the core competency of what we do, is we have to have the ability, or we have to afford the ability to the customer of multiple ways of contact. So we just can't say, there's our front door. In order to contact us, you have to walk through that front door right there. And my address is 123 there street. That might have worked 100 years ago, but that's not what we have today. We have to have multiple arenas, systems that drive people towards us. Because our audience, although we still have a geographical boundary, we know where they are geographically. We don't know where they are technically. Meaning, we don't know what technical function is their toy. Because everybody has a tendency of not liking what they like and not liking what they don't like. And where one person, they get a kick out of doing one thing one way and filling out a form, and they don't want to talk to you. They just want a form filled out and, give you all that information. That's great. Got to have that. And you have to have multiple ways for them to do that. You have to ask the question different ways, because you don't know which way you ask the question is going to elicit the response that you want. And the response you want is someone to give you information that says, I want to buy a house. So if you just take web forms for a second and you go, I only want to do web forms, well, if you only have one where you've lost, because that's going back to cluster. You haven't clustered it. You have to give them different opportunities, different things, different, emotions inside of what they're doing. And yes, marketing is emotion. We're dealing with their emotion. We're plugging into, through marketing, what causes them to raise their hand, like Horseshack from Welcome Back Carter. We need these things. And so, where one person wants a web form, and so we have to have multiple types of web forms and different looks and all kinds of stuff. And then another person wants to do a text, and so you have to have different ways and platforms for that. And then another person wants to do, maybe they want to leave a voicemail, and so you have to have different ways to do that. And sometimes maybe it's just as simple as an address. I want to write back to you. So you have to have multiple, a different way of doing that. Maybe it's coming into your office, the old school way, that you have to have a way to do that. And you have to have phone numbers. You have to make it easy. Maybe they want to do an 800 number. Maybe they want a local number. So you have to have multiple ways. You have to make it easy. But you have to respect it at the same time. Because you can make someone, and we can get the phone to ring. We can get the opportunity to climb through our system. But if we're not sitting out there on the other side of that, catching it, it's just going to fall to the ground and be wasted. And you know what I'm talking about, those of you that have done that, where you have created opportunity and let it spoil on the ground like bad fruit. Shame on you. Shame on us when that happens. So collecting of information, that's one of the key aspects is lead generation, but it's also lead capture. Man, in a high-tech world, to make things simple, it takes elaborate back-end CRM systems. Elaborate. Because just because someone said, I like blue, that's not the only contact now. Now that I know that someone likes blue, everything back to that person needs to be in blue. I can't send them something in red. I can't talk about red because they've told me they like blue. So now that person gets the blue touch. And if you don't have a CRM system that can handle that, and that's enormous, but it has to be enormously easy. So it has to be enormous, so it has to do a lot. But the functionality has to be so simple that it's being used and utilized. Because the worst part about a CRM system is they're so difficult to implement and maintain and manage. We just go back to the yellow pad and manage that way. Well, that's not a system. The yellow pad piece of paper is not a system, people. It's a letter. Okay? So, yeah, I think things are simple because of high tech. But that's just me. Maybe that would be a great podcast. We could talk about, oh my God. That would be huge for those of you that are nerdy like me, that we just get into that stuff. I love it. I love it. Question number 5. My goodness, I've been on here for 31 minutes. What is the first thing that you think of when you wake up in the morning? I mean, besides having to go to the bathroom, I'm certain that I'm not alone there. But after I do my duty, first thing I think about, I'm nerdy. Okay, I just said I was nerdy a while ago. First thing I think about, okay, I'm going to back up because I lied about to go in the bathroom. That's the second thing I think about. And I'm not saying this because she's going to listen to this and think, oh, my husband loves me. No, I do this. This first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. It's cute, but I'm going to share. I actually look over to make sure my wife's in bed with me. Sometimes she's not, but I look over at her. That's the first thing I do. Most of the time she's there so I can actually see her as she sleeps. And she sleeps so friggin' beautifully. If she dies before me, I want to get in that casket with her one last time and sleep with her because she sleeps so beautifully. But anyway, then I get up and do my duty. And then my nerdiness, I always go to my bank account balance and thank myself for that. It's my drive. It's like, yeah, there it is. Those are the zeros. It's kind of that thing that, some people are afraid not to do it, like not to do something in business because they may fail. I look at my bank account balance and it's so energetic and so in charge. It gives me so much energy and value, personal value, that it drives me to not have it go below. So I look, it's one of the first things. So, and then I plan my day. I'm a big planner, but I typically I start planning my day, excuse me. I start planning my day at the end of the day before, because I'll sit there and my brain never turns off. It's hard to turn off. It's one of those curses of being an entrepreneur. But then after I do my banking kind of thing and get charged up to know who I am, I'll start planning my day, writing down my goals for the day. And as I think they're important to write them down, because if you don't know what you want to do that day, you can't stop and ask for direction. And all of us need direction. All of us need a coach. Every one of us need a coach. Every single one of us need a coach. And I think we needed them in 6 areas of our life. But that's just my silliness, I guess, for some people. So here's my announcement. I am going to start a joint venture program with you investors that would like to do that. So it's going to be a joint venture, you and me. And we're going to buy a bucket load of houses. And I'm going to take the pain away, meaning we're going to do the marketing. We're going to answer the phone. We're going to do the BPOs, appraisals, home inspections, contracting, 65 cents on the dollar, and do the deal together. So if that's even sounds cool to you, got a form on michaelquarles.com. It says JV program. Go up there and fill out that form, and someone will call you back and explain the program to you. But think about this for a second. There are some people like me that, I want to learn everything I can learn, okay? I just want to learn everything. I don't want to do it. I just want to learn how to do it and then give it to somebody else to do. That's the system. But there are some people that they don't have that curse. They don't have that flaw. They just want to do it, meaning they don't really care about, I don't need to know how to answer the phone. I don't need to know how to value something. I just want to go and buy a house. Well, I know programs. If that's you, if you're saying to yourself, man, I want a sure thing, that's the JV program, because I'm using my system in your area. I'm using 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH in your area. You get to be the 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH investor in your area. We're just going to buy houses together. And all you, from your perspective, you're my boots. You are boots on the ground there. And at the end of the day, it's not a bad little gig. So that's the program. If you want to know more about that, holler at us and we'll explain it. Thanks so much, guys and gals. I enjoy these things. I hope you do too. And remember, if you do, please go up to iTunes and give me some reviews and tell people how you like the show and if you think they should listen in too. Thanks so much. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.